So we're really just reflecting on where we've come this year with regard to our professional development as facilitators for the ICT cluster, and the impact that that may have had on our leadership in school here at St Joseph's. And I think one of the biggest things for me was the visit that we had to Christchurch earlier in the year, where we had a chance to see how different leaders practiced a distributed leadership model. I came back with lots of ideas, and since then I've tried to combine that stuff that we saw in Christchurch with the other stuff that we've had passed on to us as facilitators in making my syndicate run a bit better and giving others opportunities to lead within the syndicate and within other roles that I have around the school.
And it's been handy to take into account the things that we've had, techniques or programs shown to us from the PD days, and then to bring that back and to put it in place, particularly looking at the human brain and understanding how people work and function together, and looking at the individuals that you have in your team. And then from there, with your expertise, just modelling and putting things in place. Not necessarily would I always suggest that they had to do it.
No.
I was just trying to catch that spark. And then when it came to the PD day, that always that there was a purpose, and why a lot of people wanted to know the reason why, so it wasn't seen as an extra.
Yes.
And just it was a real way of improving our teaching and learning and using the model of teaching as inquiry. And then to have that example there and just be ready to try and spark their interest, but to have the knowledge yourself, and then that almost builds their respect, because if you saw it as a challenge, and then they would take from your leadership, and they could get swept up on it, and particularly if you could relate it back to the new curriculum that's been developed from our management team. And I think it wasn't an extra, it wasn't something extra, but it's something that is useful and something that will make a difference.
That's right. One example is something that hasn't directly come from that, but it's the doing the role online. I've forgotten what you call it.
Absences.
Absences, doing the absences online. That was quite a difficult thing for staff to get their heads around. But I think as we model how we do it as leaders, and we suggest ways that make it easy for them to do it, and it's also one of those things that has to be done eventually online. So it's an example of finding ways that get people on. It's, as you say, get people interested in doing it, find the spark that gets things done easily and breaks down the barriers.
And also the way that we've managed our PD development of the staff. I think they've been given their time with us and then by themselves, but we're always there as a support, but it doesn't have to be a formal thing. And if we can encourage them to take on that responsibility, then they can become the expert in the area, and it will just grow from there. It doesn't always have to be us leading, developing, suggesting. But that is our role, but it's nice now if you almost feel like you can take a wee step back.
Yeah, exactly.